Hello everyone, my name is Ajay and we will continue our journey on learning VPC, which is going to be the VNet or you call it Virtual Private Cloud. That's basically the network what you create on AWS. If you have seen my last video, we talked about setting up Terraform variable. You might see some issues while setting the variable in the Windows environment, it might not work. So there is another trick what you can do. You can copy paste your terraform.exe and Windows System 32. So I have done it, and you can see no matter in which folder you are in, the moment you run terraform-v, it is going to tell you what is the Terraform version you are running on your machine. It's just a trick which might help you. It is very important we should understand how to do network testing after creating the virtual private cloud on AWS. So for that particular testing, you need to launch a couple of EC2 instance. So in this section, we are going to learn how to launch EC2 instance from console and how to launch it from Terraform as well. So I'm into a dashboard, which is EC2 dashboard, and I see there is nothing running. The number of instances it is showing 0. It means as of now, I don't have any instance running on AWS. The moment you click on the launch instance, basically it is going to ask for the name of the instance. So I'm giving the instance name is going to be EC2-demo. Then it is going to ask what are the OS images you want to go for. So these are the Amazon machine images available, and you can choose it whether you want to go for the Linux, whether you want to go for Windows or any other flavor. So here I'm going to go for Amazon Linux AWS, and this is the default selection as well. And here I can see my instance type is going to be Amazon Linux 2 AMI HVM, and this is going to be AMI ID, and it is eligible for free tier. So on the right hand side, you can also see if you want to launch a quick instance, probably all these options comes as a default and you can just hit the launch instance. But if you want to go for some selection or maybe you want to modify, then you need to focus on the left hand side. So we were here. This is the image I have chosen, which is eligible for free tier. And architecture is going to be 64-bit x86. This is the AMI ID. Please make a note, copy this AMI ID because that would be needed when we launch the same instance from Terraform. Instance type, you can launch T2 micro, that is also free tier eligible. So I will go for T2. If you click on the drop down, you can modify this as well. There are a lot of type of instances available. Since we do not want to pay anything to the AWS, and this is going to be the free tier eligibility, so I will go for the free tier only. And after that, once the instances are launched, you definitely need some sort of the credentials. So here you can generate your credentials. So click on create new credential. Once you click on create new key pair, you need to give the name. I'm giving a name key-demo, and pair type is going to be RSA, and my file format is going to be .pem. Hit create key pair, and you can see this is the key which got generated. You can download it on your machine. Next time when you connect your instances, maybe from PuTTY, you need .pem file to connect your instance. After creating the new key pair, you need to go for network settings, and we can see this is my default VPC. If you want to change it since I have only default VPC as of now, so this is getting popped up. After that, you're going to see the option for firewall security group. These are the security group basically control your traffic on host label. So you can create it. If you have any existing security group, you can reuse it. As of now, this security group which we are going to create it is just going to allow SSH from any of the IP which is outside, and that is what is expected here. And this also tells you rule with source 0000 allow all IP address to access your instance. We recommend setting security group rules to allow access for known IP address only. So that is a security recommendation. Now it's time to configure storage, and we can see by default it gives 8 GB general purpose to root volume. And free tier eligible customer can go up to 30 GB of EBS general purpose SSD or magnetic storage. So I will leave it default. While selecting all those options from console, I have not launched the actual instance. I just wanted to show you what are the options available. Now we will focus on the Terraform, and I will show you how to launch same configuration and the same instance from Terraform. So I have created a new folder here, which is going to be ec2.tf. That is one of the need. Your folder must have the TF extension. And then it's the same concept. Since my passwords keys are static, so you go for provider AWS. Reason is going to be US East -1. These are my access keys. And now I need to launch a resource. My resource type is going to be AWS instance, and my name, for instance, is going to be demo-ec2. Now I need to give AMI, what kind of AMI I want to choose. So if you recall it, I have said copy that particular AMI for Linux instance. So this is the same. There was an ID for AMI instance. Instance type is going to be T2 micro, and key name is going to be key-demo. That is something what we created. I'm going to tag it as a demo-ec2. And now I'm going to run Terraform init. And we can see Terraform init is success. After validation, you need to enter the value yes if you want to launch those instance or the configuration what we made. And now we can see the message, it is creating our resources. We can see the resources are successfully created. Let's verify on the portal. Now, under the EC2 dashboard, I'm into instances. I can see there's one instance basically which is running, and that is what we created from the Terraform. And a couple of things to be noticed: instance type and current status. It is still initializing the status check and all those things in the backend. Look at the availability zone. Since we have not defined any availability zone, there were multiple subnets were available under the default VPC. So AWS is going to choose the best availability zone for your resources. And this is going to be the public IP, which will get assigned to our instance. And there's a public IPv4 DNS name also associated. Let's take a look in detailed information available for this EC2 instance. Instance ID, what we can see here, as for the demo EC2, what we created, there is no IPv6 since my VPC is not enabled for v6. There's a host name which is assigned internally. This is my public IP address, which comes from AWS pool. My instance state is running, and this is the public DNS. My instance type is T2 micro. This is the VPC ID, which is a default one, and it launched instance under the subnet ID. This private IP address, this is what it got assigned to this instance. And platform, we have chosen the platform which is Linux, and it is coming from the AMI ID what we mentioned, and this was the AMI ID which we mentioned while launching the instance. Monitoring is disabled, and launch time we can see here, and this is going to be the AMI location. There are other options also going to be available. Security group, you can go under the security, look at the networking, storage. So a lot of information is available. I just wanted to check the basic, what we try to create from Terraform, whether the same information exists here or not. After successfully launching the EC2 instance from Terraform, it's time to introduce a new command, which is going to be Terraform Destroy. So if we are going to run this command, this is going to destroy the whole infrastructure what you created from the script. Since instance type default what we created, I want to destroy it. So I'm going to run this command, which is going to destroy the infrastructure. It will ask you the same value. If you sure you want to destroy the whole instance, enter the value yes, and it is going to destroy the instance type. And after successful completion, we can see resource 1 destroyed. Let's verify on the portal whether the destroyed function worked or not. So I'm into the EC2 dashboard. Under instances, I can see the one which was running earlier. I do not see any result. It means this function works as well. In my previous video where you can see we created a VPC, so let's just review what was the configuration and the reason behind the last instance what we launched. It launched under a default VPC. In the production environment, probably we do not want to do that, and we might need to mention a specific subnet under the VPC where you want to launch your workload. So let's review it. This was my gateway. This was my availability zone. And availability zone what we have chosen for our public subnet was 1. It means it is going to launch into 1B. My CIDR block is going to be 10.10.10.0/24, and this subnet was public. There was a route table what we have created, and I'm putting the same screenshot because I had made some mistake here which I'm going to correct it. This CIDR block is basically going to be your destination CIDR block. Since we are trying to put a default route here, that means it will become 0.0.0.0/0. It means any destination. So after changing the CIDR block, it will look like this. This is going to be my destination. And this route, what we created, demo-route, it has to be associated to the subnet also. So I need to launch another resource type, which is going to be route table association, and I'm giving a name association, and it is going to associate with subnet ID, which is going to be public. And route table ID is going to be AWS route underscore table dot demo hyphen route, and this is the same what we created here. After that, I'm going to do Terraform init and then Terraform apply, put the value S, and it is going to create your resources. So far, we provisioned a network, and it's time to launch a EC2 instance under that particular network. So what we are going to do here now is going to be the same exercise what we have seen. The only thing I need to change is going to be the subnet ID. Previously, we launched a instance without mentioning the subnet ID. Hence, it has chosen the default VPC which comes by default. And this time I want to launch instance which should go to a particular subnet. So this subnet ID, you can get this ID from the console portal after clicking on that particular subnet where you want to launch it. So you can copy this value and put it here. And now let's try to launch the same image again. Let's verify on the portal how the instance we launched now for a particular subnet looks like. So under the EC2 dashboard, you can see there's one instance which is running and name is demo-EC2. Status check is being initialized. Instance type is T2 micro. Now we see there's availability zone which is US-East-1B, and that is what is expected because that particular subnet belongs to this availability zone. Let us verify the property for this instance now. So this is instance ID and we can see the name is demo-EC2. The state is running. Now you can see earlier there was a different IP. Now we know we have launched this instance under the subnet 10.10.10.0/24. So the first IP which will be get allocated is going to be starting from .4. This is the VPC ID which is demo. This is the subnet ID which is public. And this is going to be the host name. One thing you can see, there is no public IP which is allocated to this machine yet. So this is not going to be accessible from the internet. Let us try to fix the public IP address for this instance. So you need to add this command, associate public IP address, and it should be true. Now I'm going to run it and see the result on the portal. As expected, we can see there is a one public IP address which got assigned to this instance. In the backend, I have destroyed that particular instance which was coming here, but now under the instance, we can see this is coming as a one. So what it is all about. So the moment you terminate your instances, they remain visible even after termination, and the approximately time is going to be 1 hour. So if you refresh this page after 1 hour, you are going to see 0 and 0 here, both the places. So under the instance, you can see this is the instance which was terminated, and it will reflect at least for 1 hour. So that is it for today's lab. In the next video, we are going to discuss about how we can launch EC2 instances in dual stack and what it means to you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.